Hello, everyone. My name is Modupe Daramola, and I am the host, the temporary host. I'm not taking your job, Benny, of the Noisy Book Club podcast, the best book club podcast in the world. They almost got me there, but they did not get me. My name is Modupe Daramola once again, and today I have a special guest. Do you want to say who you are?
Hello everyone. I am Oluchukwu Nwabuikwu, writer, DJ, swagged out guy.
An all-round swagged out guy. Really? Oh gosh, I love that bio. Okay, so guys, as we said, I'm Oluchukwu today, and we're discussing his story. Ponmo is a bird that has no place in a cultured culinary sky. Oluchukwu is the writer that actually came up with that. And his story is the titular story for the anthology. You can get a copy of Ponmo is a bird at any leading bookstore near you. You can also get it on noisystreets.com on our website. Oh yeah, you can just buy a copy for you, for your friends, for your family, for your ex, for your loved ones, for your enemies. Like buy for everyone. This book is so good. Everyone needs it. You can also follow. You should also be following the Noisy Book Club podcast on wherever you're listening or watching right now. So on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you listen, like, share, follow, and comment. Make sure you keep our work going. Okay, so right before we get into the juice of the story, Oluchukwu, I'm going to be doing something very incredible. I'm going to be reading your bio. And I love Oluchukwu's bio so much because I think this is one of the most intriguing bios I have read in a while. Here we go. Oluchukwu was born in Aba and all his life he's felt like a spare part. Now, can we just pause there? Why? Why did you say that? Why did you say that? Why did you say that by
It
yourself?
was yeah. I've had that by for a while now, since I was in uni. And when I started writing on Medium in uni, it was a very feelings heavy part of my life, you know. And it was just like one of like the very accurate statements about my life that I came up with in that
I
page.
mean,
But
what
yeah,
real life then felt like a spare part? Like
that's how it
what
felt.
fair enough. I hear that. To be honest, I hear that. Okay, let me continue the bio. He's inspired by the magic of everyday, which I quite like. His work draws from his own life and that of people around him. When not writing, you'll find him behind decks as an emerging DJ called 2P2E. Please check that man out right now. Or enjoying a plate of era going. He believes two things are essential to human being to being human. Staying connected to nature and treating everyone with kindness regardless of who they are. Okay, that was lovely and cutesy. I love that. This is one of the first bios I've read that does not list out all the accomplishments of the person. And I love that your bio is just simply as quirky as you are. And it's so loving and very warm, which speaks volumes about your personality. Now, let us get to the story. Why are you in love with Pomo? Like, why do you like Pomo so much? Personally,
I mean,
I don't enjoy Pomo.
is
There's
there
nothing
really a way to, for real? I mean, yeah, I can see the arguments, right, for anyone not liking Pomo. Like, I can get it. I didn't even like it growing up, but yeah, I I can't do without it now, I guess.
what? How can you not be able to do without Pomo? Like, that's such an odd thing to just need.
It's just like yeah, but like it's just like a real constant part of my diet now. It's just so
So how
fun.
does Pomo? How
I
does
don't know
Pomo
how
go?
else to explain it. Everybody, asks this, especially knowing that the context of the dish is ewa going, right? And you're adding beans to that. And everybody's like,
Beans and egg?
oh, beans and egg, Ponmo and
What?
eggs, and I'm just like, the context, right, of Ewa going is that it is just a phenomenal meal. It is magical, which means that anything within those boundaries is just allowed, right? Also, when I got introduced to Ewa going in university, there is a specific way that there's a specific way that men in public universities eat, right? It's
Men,
like a that's
like
I
men in
haven't I
public
haven't
university.
observed I haven't observed women or girls in public universities or any other gender except men like me because that's who I ate with the most. And it was mostly just a survival game at the point, which just meant that we would eat anything, would combine anything, right? And I just happened to come across a combination that I I just loved. I just felt like it was just wonderful, and you know,
Have you ever
it
tried
just really hit the spot for
conflicts?
me.
Have you ever tried conflicts and egg?
In what format are we talking about? Like
So the conflict,
like a
you
fried
use
egg
warm
or
water. I swear. Wait, let me explain. Don't judge. It's actually mad.
okay.
You use you use warm water for the conflicts, right? And then so it's a bit mushy. You put your boiled egg and then you eat it together. Like it's so mad. And then you get like your warm milk. So I mean, if you eat beans and egg, I don't know if you can. You should be not. You should be. Don't be scared to try conflicts and egg. It's actually
I'm not
mad.
judging until mhm.
You know you can't afford to judge. You can't. You can't judge. But I'm just telling you to open your mind more and explore your things you open with egg because you can actually eat conflicts and egg. Anyway, before the people start judging me, let's get into the story and let's get into our characters. So without spoiling, right? And I don't even think that this is a story that you can spoil, which makes your story so interesting in that there's no thing, there's nothing to, it's just a story, as you said, of every day, the magic of every day. So can you tell us about your story, right? Tell us about Pomo is a bird and your characters, Feshikemi and Emeka.
Okay. Um. Yeah. So, Promo is a bird that has no place in the cultured culinary sky. Is um story about man and woman who are potential, at the point of the story,
Yeah.
exploring a relationship. And, it's just a story about their first dates, really, and
Yeah.
all the things that, they are learning about each other. Although we don't really know if Emeka is learning anything, but Feishikemi, who is the main character of the story, is, we see their immediate environment and her observations of her dates. We just get a full sense of their type of people because she reveals some, you know, we're getting some things about her as well. So, but we see everything mostly through Shikemi's eyes and,
Yeah.
through the narrator who is putting everything together.
Yeah. So why did you choose to tell a December story this way, right? And why did you choose to tell this story in particular?
Okay. Um, like I said, I'm just inspired by things, that are sort of regular. Um, I'm always just excited for, amazed by everything that goes into stuff we consider normal, like when you really think about it, and it was a story my friend told me about, somebody he knew that, inspired me. I'm trying not to, I'm trying not to put any spoilers, so sometimes I might sound cryptic. But, my friend told me a story, and I went back to my room that night and saw, the call by night, the streets for his story. And for some reason, my head immediately went back to the story I heard that afternoon. And I decided to flesh it out. But why I decided to tell the story this way, um, I'm a, I don't want to say purist, but I do believe in having a different perspective on things. I
Yeah.
don't like to say too much on things that have already been said. And, I combine that with the fact that, I think love is just a pretty interesting subject, right? Because it's something that everybody sort of agrees is magical, but it's also very, very, I don't know, it's also just like a normal part of our lives. Everybody has been in or is in love or under has their own idea of what it means, right? Like every single person in the world who has consciousness up to a certain level can tell you their own definition of love. Like, but we also agree that it's this like really great experience, and it being something that combines like wonder and um emotion, really, in our minds, in our hearts, while still being around us all the time. It is just so fantastic to explore. Like in the chase of this normal yet glorious thing, like what are we going to do? What would I do? What would I think? What would I look for? What is my definition, right? So yeah, that's why I chose to write the story in a way that I felt was different from the way love is
Yeah.
typically approached, you know.
Yeah.
And to
I like
see
that.
it, there was just more. Yeah.
I like that. I like that. So essentially, your outlook on life, and particularly this story, is generally different and very quirky, which which is also very telling. I think that I we as readers and publishers and generally everyone involved in the African literary scene, in one way or the other, could benefit very strongly from telling unorthodox stories, from telling stories in very fun, funky manners. From They can benefit from just thinking out of the box, right? And African storytelling and literature is very boxed, and there's a couple of genres that we do well and we stick to because we do so well, but yet there's still so many, like so much, and there's still such a wide gap open. We can even tell the same stories that we've been telling, right, from ages past. But even in the ways that we tell those stories and the formats in which we choose to tell our stories can be so different and unorthodox. Um, you wouldn't imagine that a romance or a love story is titled "Como is a bird that has no place in a cultured culinary sky" as a title to a story that's a love story. But ultimately, is the thing, and it's the thing that writers do when they write a story, and then the readers running away with their story, right? Because when we think of Faye Shikemi and the men that she dates, really, you can even see why the title is so befitting of that of her and her experiences with men, right? So we know that in this story, Faye Shikemi is a someone that has a savior complex essentially and keeps saving men. whilst dating very horrible men. Um, but she likes it because she likes saving them. She likes saving men. Um, and for me, I think that that's so interesting. And if anyone reads the story properly and they think deeply to the title, they're able to see even more like of a connection between the title and Faye Shikemi's character and the way that she relates with men. Now I love that this is even a December story, right? Because there's a little December in this. So when they went to the concerts, when they were at the restaurant, when they were at different scenes, you could tell that there was a festivity in the atmosphere. What
Yeah.
is December like for you? And have you ever had like a December romance?
I mean, I have spent Decembers with, you know, my partner. So I guess I have had a December romance. Um, the thing for me, right, is that I would not make December a thing, honestly. But I don't mind participating in the fact that
Yeah,
December is a thing.
it's
Because like
happening. Yeah,
the energy just compels you to anyway. Like
yeah,
everything just feels different and engaging in like fun things that feel different or that's cool.
yeah,
Um yeah. So for me, I think Decembers are if I'm not traveling home to visit my family, right? Which is a whole other world and a whole other interpretation of December. I think the most stable thing right now is just me hanging out with my friends and just planning places to go to. But
yeah,
also really, really taking time to just like chill and laze about. Like I spend from like December 12th or something, like I spend large swaths of the day just like out. So yeah. It's just
yeah.
it's
Okay.
a chill time. Yeah.
I'm happy because December is like even now, like I've already started planning towards my December because I want to actively have a calm December. I don't want to have a chaotic December anymore. Like I don't want to be like thrown into the chaos. And I say this every year, but eventually end up having a very chaotic year, which sucks. I mean, a very chaotic December, which sucks for me. But I wonder how it would be like for a DJ who's going to have a chill December. Like you'll be out there at the parties. You know that, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, let's go back to the characters. What
Yeah.
would you say in your story, or what would you say about your story, or in your story, whether it's the theme or a tool, or something you've done that should ideally attract the reader to like your story? Why should they enjoy Pomo is a Bird? Why should readers pick up the book? Why should they pick up the story? Why should they read the story?
Oh, I think it's funny. Uh,
Yes. Funny as
you
hell.
don't
Yes.
really you don't really set out to at least in my experience, I don't really set out to write something funny, but I think it's always cool when it happens that, the story you're telling is actually funny. So yeah, I think that's one thing. Um, I think that also reading Tomo is a Bird and engaging it with it, like you were talking about earlier, is a nice peek into a different part of the human condition. One that
Yeah.
I think everybody low key has interacted with, but it doesn't really like come to the forefront because for one thing, we wouldn't think about our experiences in this way as maybe as love, or we might not look back on similar experiences as pleasant or, positive. And they're not. I don't think they are, to be fair. But I don't think they are I don't know, like I don't think having bad romantic experiences is all the is always horrible or crazy. There are some things that are just part of the human experience, and I think with the narrator in the story being or trying to be an objective guy, or at least telling the facts for what they are. um yeah, I think you could just have a nice unbiased look at like what being human can be. And yeah, I think it's a pretty good story. I want to say the
Okay.
writing is good, but like let's
I mean, the
I don't
writing
want to
is
brag too
good.
much.
Come on now. Why are you now being shy? Swagged out guy. Why are you being shy? The writing is amazing. And you see, like when you read Oluchukwu's story, what Oluchukwu didn't share is his story was actually submitted in 2022. Was that the year? I believe it was 2022.
Yeah, I think so. Mhm.
Yeah, 2022, the first ever anthology, right? But that story literally stayed with us. And so when we were looking at a couple of stories to add to this new edition, Oluchukwu's story was the first I remembered, literally the first I remembered, because I remember thinking, and that was what, at the time, it was 3 years ago, and the writing still stayed. And I think that is clear evidence of a great piece of literature when your readers can say, "Oh my God, yes, like, yeah, that was good." Um, so yeah, let's get to something much more, quirky. Um, so you're a DJ, right? Would you rather play in a beach or in a club? Did you get that?
um Beach 100%.
Beach over a club?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. So, okay. Would you rather play Lagos or Cape Town?
Hmm. That's an interesting question. I mean,
Exactly.
since you're asking me right now, I have played in Lagos, even though I don't think I have played at like the, maybe like the places with like really intense experiences in Lagos. But I have played in Lagos, so I would like to try out the town.
Really? Okay, fair enough. I see a couple of videos from like TikTok on Cape Town, and it's so like I feel like I just have to be there because for them they understand the words, so it's like it's a whole new level for them. And it always looks so exciting. Okay, would you rather play on a boat, right? Okay, boat or like a club, like a yacht, like setting, or a club.
I have played at both, right? At both, right?
Oh, nice. Okay, so which one?
The experience of playing while the barge was moving was really, really cool.
I would
It
die.
was.
Like I would die of like anxiety. I would have so much anxiety. Girl, I would not even dance. I would be so worried and scared.
Yeah, it was really fun though, and like everybody dancing while we're moving. That was pretty
Yeah,
cool. It was a
okay.
pretty cool experience.
Okay, last one. Would you rather play Lagos or Accra?
Again, just from a curiosity standpoint, I'll play Accra. I'll play Accra.
Yes, but I know. Okay. Let's go. So my question is, you have the book, and I know you've been reading some stories, or you've read some stories. Which other story stands out to you? And you're like, oh my god, amazing! I love the story so much. Which other story do you really, really, really like in the anthology?
Okay. I mean, I think I'm on like the fourth or fifth story right now, and so far, I mean, all of them have been good. But I do like um two of them actually. I like
Okay.
Convergence. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I like how it's written. I just like description, right? And I think that the writer does that super well.
Yeah.
like describing
Yeah.
the feelings.
Yeah. It's very good with
Uh,
it.
yeah. I also like seeing how people like express things because I'm an expressor myself. And yeah, the characters do a good job at, you know, communicating. It's, like, and when I say express, I don't mean like writing paragraphs. But like I'm just talking about how they feel. The characters do that very well in Convergence. I do like that. It also feels so intimate because they're talking in clipped tones, they're talking in like short sentences, but
Yeah. Yeah.
the shared
Yeah.
history gives meaning to everything, right? So yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
good. I did enjoy reading rather, Ka Mashabi by Natasha, I think.
Ah,
That's how
Natasha
she says her name.
Mukamba. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's one of those stories where, like, I unfortunately figured out what was happening, like, immediately, right? But the build up to the conclusion, which in my head was already settled, right, was very dramatic, which I enjoyed. I did enjoy the drama from that. So yeah, those are the two stories that I would say so far have like really hit me, and
Oh,
that's why.
amazing, amazing. Okay, thank you so much, Oluchukwu, for joining us today, for joining me on the Noisy Book Club podcast, best book club podcast in the entire world. We've been discussing and we discussed Ponmo is a bird that has no place in a culture culinary sky. You can get a copy of this book any leading bookstore near you and on noisystreets.com. Okay, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode with your writer friends, your colleagues, loved ones, enemies, and besties. I will see you guys next week. Bye.
But